Hello, everyone. This is Aisha Makara and the Artist Voice. Today I have beautiful Sarah Franca German. She's a vintage entrepreneur and beautiful woman, mother of four. She's great. Today she's going to share with us. What she's doing, her background, what her dreams, and yeah. Sarah, hello. How are you?
Hey, Aisha, thank you so much for inviting me to your beautiful show. This is
Uh,
awesome. This is awesome. And
Thank
I'm very
you.
proud of you. From one woman to another, I'm very proud of you that you're taking this bold, very bold step. I think that's fantastic.
Thank you. I'm just enjoying it. It's like life is about enjoyment, right?
Exactly. We can be silly, and we can be serious, and we can be many things. We don't have to be defined anymore as women, which is really a very important today. Especially with the elections just happening, that we have our first woman. So we have that ability, to have it all. Why not?
Why
Why?
not? Exactly. Why not to enjoy life while we can, right?
Absolutely.
So,
So, yeah, so thank you so much for inviting me. And just like kind of in a nutshell, I was born in Miami back in the 60s, wonderful 60s. And I had a wonderful childhood growing up with a French mother from Paris.
wow.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and so um, that really defined me as a person, started to define who I was going to become. I went to Paris, poor me, at 7 years old, and I was there for 3 months. And it really, like to this day, I still can smell the croissants. I can still smell the baguettes. I still can walk on the street and think of those cobblestone streets. Because Paris is art, and that's really like how I feel like that led me to becoming an artist, is being around a country that was so artistic. And then just being around these people, strangers. I mean, these were all strangers to us because my mother family we had never met before, and they were just so loving, and they took us everywhere, to the Eiffel Tower, to l'Arc de Triomphe. We went to the Pouliguen, which is the most beautiful beaches. And I was like, oh my God, this is unbelievable. What a beautiful world it is. Like all I knew was little North Miami Beach. I had never seen, of course, at 7 years old. Um, and so it was just a really captivating moment for me that set
Wow.
set the tone for my life, for my life.
Wow.
And funny, I'll give you a real quick how I ended up not being French. Because je peux être français, but I was born here. How? My mother came here to America when she was 16 to help her sister. And her sister had 5 kids. And
Wow.
my mother was set up on a date with my dad. And they pretty much said, "You're going to marry that man." And my mom was like, "No, I'm going back to France. I'm not married. I'm not getting married." And back in the day, that's why I said today, we women, we have so much liberation. We have no idea how much we've evolved. They pretty much said, "No, you're going to marry that man." And thank God, I had my dad was a great guy, and he took great care of my mom. They didn't even speak the same language, but they were able to have a really beautiful relationship. And my mother was a homemaker. Okay, that was basically what you did. She had 3 girls, and my mom was very into the house. She loved decorating. She loved to decorate. We always would come home and she'd change the drapes, or she'd change the sheet, the slip cover. And we had a very small house. We were 5 people with one bathroom. One bathroom. The house was maybe 1,000 square feet. So again, like that was a big influence, that she didn't know anything about design or decorating, nothing. She would go to the store and buy whatever, and she would decorate the house. and make it very, very comfortable for us. So, again, it's like, I feel like as someone that didn't have that knowledge as a designer, like a decorator type of designer, you don't have to. Like, you can be bold. There's amazing websites. My favorite is Pinterest. Literally, you go on Pinterest and you put something that you want to do. You want to paint your house. I painted mine. You could see my wall and this beautiful emerald green. So I went and I looked at different greens, and then they gave me the brand and the color, everything. You're not in the dark anymore. So you want to try something in your home. You don't be afraid. And paint is the one thing you totally can invite into your home, because what's the worst thing that can happen? You don't like it. Okay, you don't have to marry it, you don't have to do anything, you just paint it another color. But it's one of the cheapest ways to decorate your home is choosing interesting. I feel like my color now, I am so excited about my color. I want to dance, I want to sing in my beautiful color. So
what color is it?
it's a emerald green. I mean, they have, it's from Sherwin-Williams, and it's more interesting name than that. But they have my file. So if I go and I need more of it, they already have me on file, so I can, reorder it. But, and again, I went to Sherwin-Williams. Like, the process of even picking a color is not just going on a website, but also you go to the store, you take the swatches, you take them home. I picked 20 greens. This is the final one that I decided on, but I had 20 of them. And you, as an artist, how colors, can work with your environment. So great or so horrible. And then I eliminated all the colors, and then this is the one I chose. And then you can get a little sample of it and paint the wall. But I didn't need to do that, because I've been doing this for a long time. I knew that once I decided that that was my color, it was going to be beautiful, and I was right. We get
to trust our gut. We get to trust ourselves. We get to trust our intuition that, like, this is going to be beautiful. As I say, imagine it, and it's going to be like as I imagine.
Right. This is the first time, Aisha, that I'm decorating for just me. I was married for 22 years, and then I was with him 2 years prior. So I always had to include that masculine and feminine, like try to have that balance, which, was okay. It was fine. So what you got to do when you're in a relationship, you have to compromise. Yeah. But this is the first time I have nobody telling me, and even my boyfriend is out of town, so he has no idea what he's walking into. So I'm like, you just better come and just appreciate everything that I've done. Because normally you have your partner with you going through the process. So this is so freeing, because I feel like all the decisions that I've made, I, can take ownership of. And that's an amazing feeling. It really is. And I can't get mad at myself. Like, Sarah, why did you pick that color? And why did you do this? And why did you do that? I'm able to make all my own decisions. And if I don't like something, I can make adjustments, but you don't have that stress of, hey, what do you think of this? Hey, what do you think of that? And so far, my kids have come by and they love it, and they're guys. So, and my boys are super picky, super picky. And I was able to pick colors that incorporates all of my my decor. So that was really important also. Like, my mother was like, why don't you get rid of that sofa? I'm like, I love my sofa. What do you mean get rid of my sofa? My mom was a little opinionated. Okay. Every mother, every good Jewish mom is always going to give her opinion.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So she's, I definitely ask her opinion. She was the decorator, the matriarch of the family. But I, for years now, since I had my vintage store, I was given this gift. And I don't know, remember, I had told you, but I had a terrible depression and anxiety when I was 40. So that also changed my life a lot. So where I was used to just see color, when I went through that depression, I only saw really black, white, gray. I didn't see color anymore. I didn't want to see color, like it was all too much for me. So after my divorce, I moved into an apartment by myself. It was all white and beige.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you just colored the way you wanted. That's so cool.
Right. So,
That's
I mean, it took
beautiful.
me like a year to finally get bold and be like, okay, I'm ready. I'm out of my depression. It's time to move on. We have 4 beautiful children, and I need to start, having that desire to have color in my life again. And yeah, I have not turned back. Once I opened it up and I was able to, embrace it and feel good about it, and start, making new friends, which have been, great, and giving me a lot of, I've gotten a lot of positive reinforcement. So that's really important, is to surround yourself as an artist. What is art? You could go to an exhibit and it's a black painting and it's $1 million. Okay. Who decides who's an artist, who's not an artist, what is valuable, what is not valuable? It's somebody said to me, it's what anybody is willing to pay for it. So you're an artist, I'm an artist. Anyone watching here, you're an artist too. You just have to embrace that and start. I didn't start like, oh, I'm going to wake up and just redecorate and do all this. No, I started when, with one palette, when, I got through my period. I mean, I was always decorating when I was married, but if you're in a funk, one way to get out of your funk is to do something different. Like they said,
Exactly.
what's the definition of crazy? Doing the same thing over again and expecting a different result. Okay, so do something different. Talk to artists, go to museums. Like wherever I go, I see art, and you
That's
don't have to
true.
go, right? You don't have to go to a museum to see art. Go to the mall. I go to the mall, and I love to look at the windows to see how they decorated the windows.
Exactly. But when you go, for example, to Europe, you see like each building can be art. Actually,
Oh yeah.
like in Italy, in EU, in America, it's a little bit different. In Russia, it's a little bit different. And I'm feeling like in Europe, many like, especially like in the center of Europe, is so beautiful. It's like a art.
Right. Right. I mean, and it's who knew how they even did it, because back in those days, I mean, these guys were so precise to build all
Exactly.
amazing, monuments. I mean, I've been to Greece, and to see the Parthenon in Athens and all these incredible places, the Colosseum in Rome. I mean, even though it's crumbling, it's beautiful.
It
So,
is.
I mean, we have art here in South Florida. We do. You could go to Miami Beach. We have our Art Deco hotels, which are just beautiful. And
Oh
then,
my gosh, that's true. I haven't been there.
no,
Oh
I'm going to take
yeah.
you. I'm going to
I've
take
been
you.
in a few museums in Miami Beach. We should go, definitely. I would love to.
Yeah, there's, and then there's also Vizcaya. Oh, have you been to Vizcaya yet?
No.
Vizcaya, okay, so there was a gentleman back, I think in the 1930s, who fell in love, and he was so crazy about this woman, he built her a palace here in South Florida to replicate Versailles from France. So
Wow.
yeah, Vizcaya. And Madonna actually used to live next door back when she lived in South Miami. And then she sold her house, I think, to Sylvester Stallone. Just a little bit of a trivia there, a little celebrity trivia. But Vizcaya is a miniature replica of Versailles. It's gorgeous. It's got
Wow.
tons of beautiful art. It has columns. When I went there a few years ago, I hadn't been there in a while. There was about 20 weddings going on at the same time, because
Wow.
the scenery to do a wedding there is just so incredible. So incredible.
But what about the love story? What happened?
Their love story,
Yeah.
I think he built it and she dumped him. No, I don't. Too much. He was too much. No, honestly, that's a good question. I don't even know. Get the door. Just tell them that I'm on that. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what the end result was, but hey, listen, she had to have felt super loved.
Yeah,
Super
that's true. I would love to like somebody build me like a house or like a big sculpture. That would be cool.
Yeah, yeah, no, I mean, like if you could get, your man to, get you a house and just, make it spectacular. Wait, hold on one second. What? As an artist, who is it?
I don't know. He's one of your guys.
Tell him to come in. Tell him to come in.
Okay.
Sorry. So sorry. Hey,
What inspires you? What inspires you? I have like a 3 questions I haven't asked you yet. What inspires you to create your like lifestyle and your art and everything what you create? What inspires you?
Me. My number one inspiration is me. You know that song, Whitney Houston, that song, The Greatest Love of All, is inside of me.
Oh,
so,
wow, I love it. That's beautiful.
So one side, but it took a long time, a lot of therapy. I've spent thousands of dollars on therapy to get that. Okay. The hardest relationship was with me too. So, yeah.
That's so funny, but it's kind of true.
I mean, it is. My therapist, I said to her, I go, who's ever gonna love me after my divorce? She said, Sarah, you got to love yourself first. And then you can, open that to anybody else. So what inspires me is that I wake up in the morning and I thank God, I'm spiritual, totally spiritual. I don't go to temple or church, but I have spirituality. I feel like I do have an angel on my shoulder that every morning when I wake up, I just look forward to that day. Like I cannot relate to these women and men that don't have any excitement. I just can't relate to that they like need someone to create it for them. You have to create that for yourself. So I am just blessed that I didn't get corona and that I didn't have I'm not ill. I'm not so every day I say thank God that I have this wonderful ability to be healthy, and that what am I going to do today? Okay, I'm going to open up a vintage store. I decided to open up for non-for-profit a vintage store and learn about the vintage, everything I always loved, but I never had a store. So I just try to not feel sorry for myself. Just because you're single doesn't mean that your life has to be empty. You have to fulfill your own, yourself and create yourself.
Yeah, I feel like to be single, it's a choice as well. Like if I choose to, I choose. If I want to, I choose to. So like it's up to me actually to live the life the way I want it. It doesn't need to be like the way like it's normal. What is normal? I'm like asking myself, what it is normal? Like when people together for years and years and it is normal, like, or when people like break up and or when people just bringing kids in the world and just throw them, what is normal, like it's not this like, it's not the unique situation and the situation happened and we're not alone here. And the same time, what is normal, right? It's like, who creates normality or like
exactly it's the people that created the art that
exactly
and it's a lot of freedom when you're single, or like I know for me now, if I'm around a toxic person, they get away. Like don't be that dumping ground. Don't let that like I got so many, when I have myself, I had toxicity. That's normal, you know, when you have a relationship like that. But you also then, once that's over, you have a choice now to make new friends, a new career, new, new traveling, just try new things. You don't have to sit in that pool of sadness. You don't, it's like get yourself up. And I wanted to do a class when I had my store. I wanted to do a class with this girl, and unfortunately it was she was I'll be honest with you, she was so negative and so complicated. We were never able to do this beautiful class because she was like, well, I don't like to post and I don't want to be on Instagram. I leave a life of, like a very quiet life. And so why are you coming to me to do a class? How are you going to do a class if you don't advertise it and try to get people? But the essence is, you know, nice girl, but if people don't embrace and don't want to help you to achieve the next level, get away, run. Okay, if you give somebody your idea and all they say is, well, that's a stupid idea, how many of those comments can you take before it just diminishes your ability to be creative?
Yeah,
You
that's
start
true.
becoming, yeah, like when I didn't tell anybody that I wanted to open up a vintage store. Why? Because I knew everybody was going to tell me that's crazy. I knew it. So I didn't tell anybody. I did like this whole like campaign of like, I have an idea, it's coming, da, 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 like I had a whole thing of how I built it up without telling anybody. And then when I finally did tell some people, they were like, a vintage store? Why do you want to have like old stuff? I'm like, everything is old. As soon as you buy it, it's old. It's like a car. As soon as you buy a car, what happens? As soon as you take it off the lot, it's already old. But it was the best experience. I met the most amazing people. And I was really able to create so many different looks in that store because it was really a little house and there was a garden in the back. And people loved it. I mean, it really, the reaction was amazing. But right before the pandemic, I just went into Airbnb. I just bought my third home. And artists don't have to be starving and artists don't have to be poor. Okay. We can be rich and successful. Trust me, we can. And smart and super smart. So right after I bought my third house, which I'm proud to say, I decided to close my store. But it was 3 years. It was 3 great years. And it was just time. It was just time. Again, just
Yeah.
because you're in a situation, whether it's a relationship or a business or a career, doesn't mean you have to be miserable and stay in it. You can get up, and leave. You can. People don't understand that. They want to continue to suck you dry. You give them all your great, right, inspiration and ideas, and they just want to sit there and do nothing. But that, yeah, so from the vintage store and being so great at merchandising and creating spaces, I went and I opened up my first Airbnb 3 years ago, which is attached to my house, which is always busy, always, always. I don't know if it's because of my energy, but I always have great people. And then a friend of mine found another house for me, and they had a shed in the back, an old shed from the 1960s that was handmade, and I turned it into a tiny house. So there was nothing. It was an empty wooden. I said it would look like Charles Manson's love palace. I had to add plumbing. I added electric. I added everything. It has a bathroom. It has a kitchen. It has a queen size bed. It has a big TV, Wi-Fi, internet, and then it's on a quarter of an acre. The property sits on a corner. It's super, super. It's so dope. I don't use dope, but this is dope. And I did it all myself. I designed it. I created it, and I'm like, let's do it. Tiny houses are in. Let's do a tiny house. And people leave me little love notes. I'm looking forward to have my first tiny baby. I love babies. So I'm looking forward to have I've already had weddings. I've had engagement parties. I've had birthday parties. My homes are so special. They're not just white and then a bed. All my homes are colorful. They're all colorful. They're all fun. There are a lot of vintage. I have a lot of vintage in all of my homes. So I have the tiny house, which is kind of like a farmhouse style. So the one thing I get a lot of things that are from the past, but I always get new bedding, new linens, all that. It's always new, 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 new. And then any of the, like the antiques, but that's antiques, that's just the antique world. And then my other house I call Kissy Karma.
Wow.
And, yeah. So Kissy Karma, because I'm all about good karma. And that's a wonderful space too. It's 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, lots of love. I put a lot of love into that. New kitchen, really comfortable, cozy. I just had a woman, she came by herself and she loved it. So again, just, I want every house for people to walk in and go, wow, this is not a hotel room. This is not the Holiday Inn or the Hilton where it's a bed, a headboard, a little coffee table.
Would be you open to grow your business?
Well, thank you for asking. I just became an ambassador for Airbnb. So what is that? That means that because I've been a super host for the last 3 years, I have been inducted into the next level, and that's ambassador. So now let's say you say, hey, Sarah, you know what? I'd like to learn more. I'd like to have an Airbnb myself. They're giving me the tools, a business card. I can use, an Airbnb business card. I can use their name on my business card, so I can really endorse Airbnb as a partner. Not just me being like a host, but now I also represent Airbnb as an ambassador. And what I'm trying to do is, educate people, help them to have a potential career, because Airbnb is amazing. I don't care what anyone says. The Airbnb Corona
I
parties.
did Airbnb as well back in Lisbon.
Oh yeah, okay. So
Yeah, I work several years in that industry. I like it. I mean, I think it's beautiful, and I enjoy it very much. I would like to do the same here. But I feel like Airbnb actually very popular, and Airbnb like more like young people, and it's a good way to know people, like good people, like
Right.
who is also understand about exchanging of energy and exchanging of values. And this is why this started actually as just people hang out with people that the same, let's say, interests, like
Mhm.
they pay how much they could in the moment, and and this is how it started to grow and grow.
Right. And what I like about it is, they really don't have a lot of restrictions. I mean, in terms of, like they don't say, oh, Sarah, we want all our houses to be white and gray. You could be as creative as you want to be. So if you want to create a tiny house that's in a bubble, go for it.
Yeah.
If you want to create, a water boat, on the water, that's a home, and you can do it, go for it. They don't inhibit you, which I love, because so many times you work for a company and they go, oh, no, 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 we don't do that here. It's like, yeah, but this works. Oh, no, we don't do that. So you don't, they don't really step into your business unless there's a complaint. Now, are there complaints? We're human. You know, you're going to have people that are wonderful and you're going to have people that are, you know, definitely challenging, especially because of this Corona time. A lot of people were not forthcoming with what they wanted to do on the property. But that's not Airbnb's fault. That's on the person. You know, if Airbnb says, you know, how many people you having, they go through the whole protocol. You give them your passport, your driver's license, and then you invite 50 people. That's shame on you. It's not their fault. I defend Airbnb. You know, they were basically went out of business overnight.
Oh, wow.
Went from millions of reservations to zero. It's amazing they survived. It's amazing they survived. You know, they're not a Hilton, they're not a Marriott. You know, they're still a startup.
Yeah.
So they had to, you know, dig deep. They had to dig deep to survive. And what's nice about their organization is they also provide the insurance. So people that, you know, are on my property, if they get hurt, you know, anything happens, you know, they cover that, which none of the other booking.com and
Yeah.
Verbo, they're the only ones that protect
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
from
Yeah. Yeah. I
injury
remember.
or accident. And that's huge. That's why a lot of people don't do, you know, short-term rentals.
Yeah.
But I put most of my effort now into Airbnb because, you know, people are just unpredictable, very unpredictable. And I also have a experience because of my love of vintage. Like you know, like you were saying, well, what do I do? So I call it a vintage entrepreneur because I've taken vintage on many. This is like 3 or 4 or 5 different ways. So my first was, you know, just decorating, and then my next was opening up the vintage store, and then my next is my Airbnbs that all have a touch of vintage. And then through Airbnb, we have experiences. So I do an experience with Airbnb that is, I invite people to my home and then we go shopping and we go vintage shopping. So I find out if they like antiques or they want clothing, you know, see what type of, you know, what's their vibe. And we have a great time. We have a lot of fun. They closed that down. The Airbnb experiences were closed down. They're going to be reopening it again in December.
Okay.
So anyone who wants to go vintage shopping, you don't have to stay at an Airbnb. Like it's another whole separate entity. So if you want to go shopping with a vintage expert, and we go, you know, vintage shopping, and then at in my new awesome kitchen, I'm gonna have like a little brunch, coffee. We could have a little chat because I feel like we all need that. We all need that, like again, like to get together and see each other's faces and smiles and talk. It's been a while. It's been too long. Been too long.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe. Yeah, you're right. It's kind of like different experience.
It's yeah. I mean, you go to
People
public.
even don't even like people like walking in the street and it's kind of like 6 feet apart. If they don't know you, they're like scary.
Yeah.
Like a little bit. It's still like very funny to look at, but it's
Mhm.
not funny at the same time. It's just like people have still live in the scarcity mindset
Yeah.
instead to look at this completely different and create something out of that.
Right. I mean, I'm a major environmentalist also. So I feel like the earth is just crying, you know, it's crying for better care, for us to really take better care of, you know, Mother Earth, you know, with better recycling, you know, okay, straws, like they made a whole big deal, like, wow, we're gonna, you know, no more plastic straws. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, can we do better than that? You know, seriously, is that the best we can do is just no more
Yeah.
plastic straws? We can do no more any of that. We could just everything could be biodegradable. I I mean, I don't think anybody would mind spending 25 cents more on a biodegradable plate, you know, compared to a styrofoam plate, which is, you know, doesn't degrade for 100 years. And plastic bottles. Like have a big, glass bottle, in your restaurant and self-service with a biodegradable cup. I
Yeah.
mean, when you go to like California and Colorado, a lot of those places, that's what they do, Oregon, more earth friendly type places. We got to do better because the earth is crying for help. And this was a big, a big cry. It shut down. There still have not been any cruises. You still
Mhm.
can't travel freely. People still can't travel freely. Hotels are empty, like degrading by the second, because the human body is so important to the environment. It's like if you ever go to a house that's been empty for a while, it's like it's just musty and it's just nasty. We
Yeah.
humans,
Yeah.
we have like the pheromones and the hormones that we create such the energy. So all these hotels, they need people. They need to have that activity again. Otherwise, they're going to start crumbling. Um,
Yeah.
so I think this was a good thing. I don't like that people had to die, but if we don't listen to Mother Earth, we certainly are going to continue to have these fires, these storms, these epidemics. Now we got a new president. Congratulations, President Biden. I pray that the two of them, start doing the right thing because I don't want to get into politics, but we can't ignore the elephant in the room.
Exactly. I agree. What they want to create was your art. What's your impact? What impact do want to create with your art?
What I
What do
Right.
vintage art, whatever you create?
So my main concern, honestly, is to get people excited about art and fashion and design and get them out of maybe their negative space, and maybe paint it. Maybe they need to just change things up so that way when they walk in, it doesn't have that trigger. Again, I learned a lot about triggers. So I try to have in my life positive triggers, just to keep
It's interesting what positive triggers. I
right.
like it.
Yeah, color is definitely a positive trigger. Flowers, I buy myself flowers.
Me
When
too.
I was married, yeah, my husband, in the beginning was very good about that, very good. He spoiled me. And then as things got less, new, I guess, that went away. And I started just buying my own flowers because if I had to wait, I was getting them on Valentine's Day and my birthday and Mother's Day, 3 times a year. I like flowers every day. So if you were to go into my bathroom right now, I have a huge fresh flowers and it's not even, they're 3 for $12 at Publix. I buy the brightest flowers, and every morning I look at my flowers that I buy for myself. And that's, again, I feel like that makes me feel good about myself. Because if you don't want to take care of yourself, you don't want to go to the gym, and you don't want to eat right, and you don't want to stop smoking, and you don't want to stop drinking, and you don't want to stop dating that toxic relationship, and you don't want to tell your kids how you really feel, and you're gonna go right
I
down the toilet.
agree. I agree.
It's a spiral that you're going down. So everything starts
We
with
get to
you.
start it from the positivity, as you said. We get to start from the like a space where we can create. This, I believe, like when we find this space for me, it's joy and love and peace and gratitude and love, like all these beautiful uh, things that we can experience in our life, and we can understand actually through our body what it is to feel it. And I
Hmm.
believe that this is how we actually can connect with other people, by in that level or like in that particular way of beingness.
Absolutely, because listen, I've been dating now for quite some time. and before, no.
You're so
And
funny.
as we all know, we get all excited when we hear from that special person, whether it's a guy or a girl, we get all excited and then we get all bummed out when we don't hear from them. Again, you gotta like make yourself happy and not depend on that energy to make you happy because
I agree. I totally agree.
we're all victims. So many of us are such victims
Yep.
of that, because we want that Vizcaya. We want the guy who built the palace. We want all that. But
And we
it's
get to be that as well. I'm feeling like, yeah, I want to have that person in my life. I want that, like someone being so passionate, what I'm passionate about, what I'm building, that he get passionate by that by himself. I don't
Mhm.
need, like, I would like that inspire people to the level that they can be inspired by themselves. That we don't need to have, as you said, you inspire by yourself. Like, who inspires you? Me. And this is what I'm feeling like. I'm asking myself the same question. I'm saying like, who inspires is me. I'm
Right,
getting all these ideas and I'm thinking like how I can create them and like who can help me to create it,
right,
who can support
right.
me with that. It takes time.
It takes time, and then what it also takes is, again, making sure that the person that that you involve yourself with people that are going to give back, not just takers. Like sometimes people just, they believe in you, or they want to, they say they want to help you, but then they don't pick up your phone calls, they don't return your text messages, they don't, like it comes to a point again where you got to cut your losses and say, okay, I've invested in this person, I'm invested in doing all these things for them, and I'm just not getting it back, and you got to like be okay to say that I'm not going to be a victim. Don't, like, people want to just, oh, I want it to work out. I want it to work out. It's like, yeah, but sometimes that other person, that energy, just like a relationship, takes two. It takes two. I mean, if you can't ballroom dance by yourself, you can't tango by yourself. You need that commonality of you're both on the same wavelength, because just like it's important for you as an artist for people to say, wow, that's beautiful. I post all the time, and you do too, which, it's work. And yet,
Yeah, it
so
is.
many people look and they know what you're doing. And when you see them out, they'll be like, oh, I saw that, or I saw that. That was pretty cool. Michael, why don't you ever say anything? Oh, you don't need. I go, yes, I need that too. Of course, everybody needs a little pat on the shoulder to, feel like what they're doing is inspiring. Um, but we're putting ourselves out there, and again, that's why I say congratulations, because you're new to this area, and you're taking this, your artistry, by not just being an artist. Now you're interviewing. You just never know who you're going to meet, where it's going to lead you, by putting yourself out there. And I think that's
Yeah, I'm feeling like it's I'm not right now so much like focusing on Instagram right now. I'm like focusing a lot on my vision, what I want to create. And you see, I was like working today on my vision, and I was like today and yesterday actually a little bit getting to the clarity. I'm feeling like, yeah, I create my name, Aisha Makara, and I'm an artist, but I'm more than that because I'm like, I have done so many beautiful things in my life, and I have like, traveled, learned languages, and did so many like great stuff. Like I enjoy so much, and I still do. And I'm like, how I can share like what I have achieved in my life that I enjoy no matter what. Like how I can explain people or like not share with them that they can understand it or they can see that whatever they do, they get to do it with love
right,
and
right.
connect with love.
And it's hard. I mean, I'm a lot older than you, and I've been up. It's an uphill battle. People want to point the finger. Oh, oh, you're that, or you're that. No, like, I'm a person first. I'm a mom. I was a wife. I'm a girlfriend. I'm a, I speak 3 languages. I'm great at stock picking. You know, I'm more than just that vintage girl. I'm more than just, you know, like a mom. I'm, you know, like get to know me. But so many people are just so, like, I think a lot of people are intimidated because we are doing what they want to do, and they're afraid. They're afraid, and you get to a point where you can, you know, I have friends that I like try to, but you know, I just don't have the energy when you just trying and trying. All right, come with me here. Oh, why don't you try this? Oh, why don't you paint your house like that? Oh, why, you know, like it's exhausting.
It
It's
is.
it's like they're like children. They're like children. So, you know, I really I really feel like I was telling my cousin Saturday night, because I've had, you know, I've had friends that have been very, they've disappointed me in the last few years. And I said to him, I said, you know what? There's a reason. You know, there is a reason that I'm not friends with those people anymore. And there was a long, long friendships. I said, I am getting ready for the next level. And if I had those people in my life, they weren't so positive. They were more negative. And because of that negativity is the reason why we're not friends anymore. So now that I don't have that junk in my life, I have time. Like those people took time. I had a, you know, there was a lot of investment with these people. So now that I don't have that junk, I have more time for beautiful new people,
Yeah.
beautiful new friendships. So I feel like everything that happens, positive or negative, I know it's so cliche, everything happens for a reason. Boring. But, you know, it's not that, listen, God forbid it's a horrible situation. Like there are people that like horrible things that have happened. Not everything that happens is for a reason, but there are many things that you can take lessons from and just, you know,
Move,
go to the
move.
next level. And that's
Yeah.
what I feel like I'm doing. You know, with I started off with one Airbnb and now I have 6. I was just a regular host. Now I'm an ambassador. So just all of these things are, you know, enabling me to get to new levels. And I don't know where it's going to lead me. I really don't. It's kind of
This is
exciting.
my next question. How do you see yourself next 5 years? Who you want to be? Do you have idea or like a vision?
I would love a show. I would love to be on a like either through Bravo or A&E, and show people how to design with vintage and with Airbnb, you know, that whole concept of short-term rentals, and then how to decorate on a not a big budget, and to try to bring in, you know, you know, how to recycle, teach people how to do really good recycling, real proper recycling.
How I have idea. We can think about that, me and you. So my idea is how you right now ambassador of Airbnb. What you can do is write an email to the management of Airbnb and just share your ideas you have. You can do like a video message to them. You can
Uh-huh.
do like a writing, whatever you decide. It's up to you. And like, and from that we can move forward if they will respond to you. So we can, you know, like do something out of that, and we can already like create a plan or like build a plan how you can manage to be there.
They were at for a time, and I guess with the pandemic, they haven't been doing it lately, but they were featuring like a super host every month, or I don't know, if it's every month or every quarter,
I
getting to
think it's
know,
every quarter, yeah.
yeah, they would like talk about that person um to some, you know, to get, so you get to know, you know, that, you know, Juan Valdez in Cuba, you know, get to know him, see him making coffee, see him getting up in the morning, and that sort of thing.
I
um
remember,
I
I
haven't
remember because it
they
was like
haven't
a, yeah.
they've dropped all their advertising. They, if you see, there's been no zero ads lately. But yeah, I mean, I would need to get their permission to see if they would allow me to, you know, represent. I mean, I could just call it short-term rental type of thing. But
We will think about the idea, by the way. We can, me and you can brainstorm.
that's my
And
goal is to have a show, and just keep it fresh and get women like yourself and just try to continue to invigorate women, because I was in corporate America and it's not invigorating. It was very, very stressful and very, degrading at times, and just a very it was tough. It was very tough, and people can be very ruthless, very ruthless, and you could do great, 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 and one thing goes wrong, and they say, that's it, I don't want to do business with you anymore. Um so I would love to invigorate women and teach them how to maybe have an Airbnb or to do the experiences. So let's say like you, Aisha, I think we're gonna collaborate soon. So like we do an art class, and you teach them how to do some art with your beautiful technique, and depending on the kind of class. If it's a kids class, you
yeah,
do
I'm already
it.
doing it. I already sent the Airbnb, and because of the COVID, they don't do it right now. But like I started to do that. I already started to do like through the Airbnb, and the things is, um, it's like it's a process. I'm thinking. I actually was thinking me and you we can do something with Airbnb with the decoration.
I already have my experience, so and it's still approved. But I just can't do anything right now until but I have my
Yeah, we
experience.
can talk
We can
about. We can
incorporate
talk.
yours. We could do vintage art
We
class,
can.
right?
And the last, any advice to the artists who just started their like artistic career? Do you have like advice for them?
Yes, talk to people. I know as artists, you want to just do your art and you want to hide, and when you do an exhibit, when you do anything, if you're having somebody buy your art, whether it's an exhibit or you're posting it on your site or you're sharing it, let the person know who you are. Give them, I saw a great tidbit of information of how to be successful on Instagram. And basically, the girl was like, listen, I have millions of followers. I'm going to make it real easy. Short stories. Make it just good, short stories. People want a story. They want to know who you are. And why should they buy from you when there's so many artists? So many artists. So, and then if you do get invited to a show, where you're showing your art, get up, dress fun, and talk to people, and have a little
Yeah.
business card. Have a little business card that says Aisha or has Sarah, with your phone number and your Instagram account. Take it seriously, and then people will take you seriously.
Yeah,
And
business card is like I think right now I don't use like so much the business card because everything on the phone and people can find you in the phone. And actually, I'm showing you. I have before when I live in California, it was very funny. And actually, I did the same in Portugal. I got this idea many years ago when I lived in San Francisco, and I was doing like a picture with Polaroid and give it as a business card with people with my face and with them and like just the time, the moment.
right.
So like now I got like for my birthday the bigger one. So it's
Oh,
like
nice.
kind of very interesting. And I haven't
That's
tried it yet,
that's
this one, because it's big.
free to do that.
Yeah. So I'm saying like when I'm in an event or something and it's a new event, so it's a good way to connect with people and actually find a way to give a gift. Actually, it's expensive gift, a very expensive card.
I know. I know. The film is really expensive, but
Yeah,
people can come. That's super clever. I love it. Like, if you're,
it's great.
if you have something that you're good at, you could use like a smooth rock and just put your name and your Instagram account. Just come up with your own little gimmick. Like me, it's vintage. So when people stay at my place, if I like you, Okay, because I like most of people, but I don't like everybody. I give them a little piece of vintage. So I'll give a shoe, or I'll give, like an egg. I just got these vintage eggs. So, something that they'll remember my place, and then they'll post it. I had this one girl, she posted the shoe that I gave her. She put it in she's a tattoo artist. So just give people, giving is also a huge recommendation. Always, when you
Yeah.
do an exhibit, put some candy out, some chocolates, always be very, be generous. Those little things do add up. People love it. People love
Yeah.
it. They just, whenever I do shows at the home shows, I've done all kinds of, fashion shows where I was an exhibitor, and I always put that candy out.
That's
And I
cool.
always got a customer from that candy.
That's cute. Candy is very good.
Right?
Yeah, that's a good idea, candy.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Sarah, for your time. It was wonderful conversation. I enjoyed very much, and I'm
Yeah,
going to publish
getting
it.
to know you more and
Yeah.
more.
Yeah, me too.
Happy day, and till we see each other again on some more collaborations.
Yeah, see you soon.